In this review lesson for the Unit 5B test, we're going to be looking at solving some quadratic equations that are not trinomials. They're not in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. So this first one, number 19 that I'm working on, 16x squared equals 10x. You can see right here I wrote that there's no c value. What I mean by that is the quadratic standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. Well, this one has an a and a b. We have 16x squared, so that's our a, minus 10x squared, so there's our b. Now, the original equation, all I did here is I set it equal to 0 by subtracting 10x from the right side to cancel it and subtracting 10x from the left, so I just wrote minus 10x, or I moved it over. Now, this ax squared minus bx, they have a factor in common. First of all, obviously they both have an x, and 16 and 10 are both divisible by 2. That would be what's called the greatest common factor, is the 2x. So we factored out 2x. And then what remains inside this parentheses is what we'd have to multiply back to get to the original. So 2x times 8x gives us 16x squared, and 2x times negative 5 gives us negative 10x. So now I have factored this, and I've set it equal to 0, so I can set each one of these factors individually equal to 0. So 2x equals 0. Well, by the time you divide by 2, 0 divided by 2 is 0. So one of your solutions is 0. Now, 8x minus 5, we set that equal to 0. We're going to have to add 5 to the left side to isolate the x and to cancel negative 5. So we add 5 to the right. That's positive 5. Now, 8x equals 5, so we divide by 8. And x equals 5 over 8, or 5/8. And that's your two solutions by using the greatest common factor, or factoring. All right, now, the next example. Now on this one, and this may not look like one you've seen because it has this fraction, but don't let that throw you off. Basically on this one, you don't have a b term. So remember our ax squared plus bx plus c. Well, this one has an a and a c, but not the bx. So let's see how this one works out. So when you don't have a b, you can basically usually just set it up as an equation and solve it by completing the square, okay? Or it could possibly be a perfect square. So we have 1/2 x squared minus 42 equals 8. So I'm just going to add 42 to the left side to cancel the minus 42. So I have to add 42 to the right, and 42 plus 8 is 50. So now I have this equation, 1/2 x squared equals 50. Okay. This 1/2 x squared, that's the same as like x squared divided by 2 equals 50. Well, the opposite of dividing by 2 is to multiply by 2 so that they cancel. And that's exactly what I've done here. All right. That's what half of a number, or half of x squared. To get rid of that half, we multiply by 2 over 1 on the left side. Well, we also have to multiply the right side by 2, so 50 times 2 is 100. Well, now it says x squared equals 100. Well, the way you solve for x squared is to take the square root of x squared, which is x, and the square root of 100, but we take the positive or minus square root of 100. Well, the square root of 100 is 10, so your answer is the positive 10 and the negative 10. And that's how you solve it with the squares. All right, and that's a look at solving without a b value and a c value.